everyone, and welcome to the next live stream that we're doing. Moscow's decided to join me. He claimed my desk only 10 minutes ago, and I thought, well, you know what? If you're going to be here, you might as well start the stream. But now he's decided to be the background character, and I think we're okay with that. Hey, Moscow? He purrs. We need a Moscow microphone.
The cat is never the background character. He's always the main character.
Yeah, we need a Moscow mic. We just get him a collar that has a little microphone because his purring is so loud, but it probably you can't hear it at any of these.
Do you remember what happened last time we put a collar on him?
Oh, Moscow doesn't like collars.
No.
Last time we put a collar on him, we have a very funny video. You know what? I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna post it in our members Discord because it was cute. But he did panic a lot. So we did then take it off him. But it's him basically shaking his head around like a crazy cat and doing whatever he can. And then he just gives up and collapses on the floor. It was very cute. But we decided after that maybe he's not a collar cat. You know what I just realised? Shane.
You don't have a laptop with
I
comments?
don't have a laptop, so I can't see any comments. We should probably fix that.
That's
I think
right.
Will's on a mission. My laptop's downstairs somewhere because last night we were playing family Minecraft. Shane and I and our two young children, aged 6 and 10, were in our Minecraft world, and the kids decided they wanted to start over. And I said, there is no way we're starting over after everything we've built in the world. So instead, for our gamers here, we decided to get rid of all of our supplies, put them in chests at the house. We were only allowed to take our armor and our tools. And we went for a very long walk following Shane through the wilderness, leading us to start a new colony. And the kids are so excited. Our 6-year-old woke up yesterday morning, and he's like, Mum, are we going to do the new colony again tonight? So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of Shane hiding away and building secret caves on his own while I stop and try to wrangle the children and go, stop! If you just run away from the creeper, then he won't blow up your house again.
And kids trying to constantly scab materials and not
and
find their own.
Mum, can you go get me diamonds? Mum, can you go get me this? I'm like, why did I go to this? But it's fun family bonding. Gaming with kids is always an interesting challenge. But today, we're not gaming. Today, we are painting with paint pens again. So if you missed my last live stream, it was actually 4 weeks ago. I have been doing a little bit of traveling in the last 2 weeks. I'll tell you more about that as we get into this today. But we started with some paint pen testing. So I've actually been testing paint pens for the last month. We've got over... Oh, how many brands? I've lost track.
6 billion.
6 billion. That feels like an accurate number. 72, thank you, Will. A bit more accurate. 72 different brands that we're testing. Lots of different types. This was the result of the black pen comparison we did. Not black pen. The black page paint pen comparison that we did. So we got all those results. This is all for a big video that is going to be on my main channel in a few more weeks because we need a lot of time for this one. But we are testing all these different brands to see how they perform here, what their opacity is like, how they perform on rocks. We did a bunch of rock painting. You can see a few like sneak peeks of that on my Instagram. And today we are continuing some testing, but this time a little bit of fun on some cassette tapes. So let me show you what I've already done because I've already done a few of these. And this is a really fun thing that I've actually wanted to do for a while. I want to make like an art piece out of these when I'm done. So I'm trying to kind of do like one cassette for each brand, but also that means that there are like probably way too many to do. So I've cut down and decided that like, even though say for example, Artex, I have like 3 different types of markers, I'm going to use them on one tape. And some of them I've just decided to test. So like this one that I've got here is quite an ugly tape because it was just my test tape for a few brands that I decided not to do a whole tape with. Where they just look so gross that I was like, there's no way they're going to look good. So it was more just to actually give them a score. Because the goal of this is that by the end of this, with all the different cassettes that I'm doing, that I would actually be able to give them a score on how they work on plastic, and these do have a plastic primer on them as well, but also help me to just feel how they feel, how many times you have to reactivate them, do you have to reactivate them at all, looking at the different types of markers, looking at how much they spill, how opaque they are, and all these different tests that I'm putting them through. This is just one part of it. And so for this in particular, I'm looking at how they work on plastic, how easy they just are to use and nice they are to use in general. And I'm also doing a little bit of like gradients in this to sort of test if you can blend two colors together. And I'm doing what I call blending on hard mode where, in fact, where's an example? Let me find one. Here is an example of one I did, and I don't have a brand written on this. That's not very helpful. This one is one that I did where I did a gradient underneath to see how they blend. But when I say blending on hard mode, I am not using any kind of brush or blending assistance. I'm using only the marker themselves. That's actually the hardest way to blend because every time you sort of try to clean up an area, you're also laying down new paint. So if they can blend on hard mode, that's a really good sign, and I'm basing the blending scores off that. But even the ones that don't necessarily win on hard mode will still be pretty good to blend with in general. So we have our laptop.
We have a question from Colour with Claire.
Hey, Claire.
Sarah, where did you get that shirt?
Sorry, I just need to interrupt. Proof. I'm literally still logged into Minecraft. Yeah, so I need to catch up, and maybe Will, you can get me onto our YouTube comments, and then I can join. Until then, Shane's going to read them. So where did I get the shirt? This is a wonderful Bob Ross shirt. Actually, it was an event that the Bob Ross company had. It was axe throwing, of all things, random, but they did have a table of really cool t-shirts. I've got this one and two.
Was that at NAMTA?
Others? Yes, at the NAMTA Creativation trade show event that they do each year. This was last year?
No. It's like 2 years ago or something now. It's a couple of years ago.
Wow, the last few years have just been all a blur to me. Yeah, so this was one of them. I don't know if you can actually buy it or if it was like a one-off thing, but I have this one, and I also have the other Bob Ross one I have where it's like pixel art, and that's really cool. It's like one of my favorite shirts. So perfect for our channel, you know, no mistakes, just, what does it say? Just happy accidents. That's the Bob Ross saying. So I thought it'd be fun to wear it today because I expect lots of accidents in this video. No, we'll be fine. So let me show you the ones I've already done. Oh, we have our comments. I usually do like a pop-out comment thing.
We won't be fine.
It won't be fun. Shane, no faith in me. Oh, you know me too. Hey, Moscow. He gave up on us. I even set his bed up there and he just abandoned me.
It's probably sleeping on your pillow.
We're doing great. We're doing great at this live stream today. Can I just say we've got the laptop ready to go. 10 minutes in. Clear plan for the day, and here we go. All right, so I can see you now. I can see Rhonda. I can see Claire. I can see Solarium, and for some reason my thing's not letting me scroll past that. Jordan, hello. Melville, hello. Caitlin, hello. Really cool to now see. Oh, Izzy, Island Heart, right here, nice and early, and our members. So love you guys. And after this stream, we do this stream for about 2 hours, and then after this stream, we usually do an extended live stream just for our members that are Silver Plus. So whatever I don't finish here, we will continue there. But I want to show you the paint pens that I have tested so far and give you just some initial thoughts. I don't have the scores written down here, so this is based off my memory from a week ago, but they don't all look horrible like this. These were just my sort of throwaway test ones. Although, I'll be honest, these two, actually even this one, I reckon there's some potential here. There's some potential to like finish these off and make them look good, just in general brands, because I really like these colors. So I'm thinking, and that one I kind of did get a little bit creative, but it's sort of just a bit of fun. But what we've tested so far, we've got, not these ones, we've got these ones. So what I've been doing for each one is I have been taking a color palette and using the color palette for inspiration for the colors, but also kind of using the picture for inspiration, not necessarily like copying it exactly, although this one is a bit more sort of a copy than some of the others. But this has allowed me to kind of help me to get through that sort of initial, like, I was going to say blank canvas, but blank cassette, which they still are on the back, and figure out what direction I want to take the piece. So with this one I remember when I was doing the layers underneath, I was actually really underwhelmed, but I kept just adding layers, and so I actually really like how it turned out. But they weren't that easy to work with on the plastic from memory, and this is just memory, but I will have this all detailed in the big video that we get to, and the blog post that we usually make to support it. This one, when you put them down, they looked really nice, but then they dried such a different color that it kind of, for me, really shook my confidence in thinking I was doing a good job, and then looking at it going, oh, it doesn't look that good, which I don't love. I don't love that, like, you think you're doing well and you look back and it looks bad. That's a real confidence killer, so that's not great. But that's my shuttle art one so far. One of my favorite final designs. I mentioned this one before. I don't remember what brand this was. I will have it noted somewhere, but I forgot to attach the post-it note. But again here, my goal was initially just to do the gradient, but then I wasn't fully happy with how it was finished and I wanted to do some more details. So I decided just to add these little lines for fun. But it's still kind of like inspired by the picture being just a little gradient.
I think that one was the Poscas.
No, I haven't done the Poscas. Why are you saying that? Are you saying that just to mess with me? Or are you like, was that actually a guess?
A little bit. Maybe.
Shane's just picking whatever random name he knows.
Those were the Derwent ones.
A few people are saying I love looking at these tapes so much. I'll tell you what, I was so excited when I was like, I want to paint cassette tapes. And I actually don't even love how some of these have come out like together. I'll explain to you as I go. There's one or two that I probably might just give away or do something with, rather than like, I want to line these up in like a frame. And there's one or two that I feel like just don't fit the vibe of the rest of them. But I love, like, I am obsessed with these tapes, even to the point there's one or two. Is these ones? There's one or two around here somewhere that I was like, I don't want to paint them because they're kind of just cool as is. Like, I love the old stuff. This one looks like I accidentally murdered someone with it. That paint pen may have exploded while I was doing that. I just love the look of old tapes. Like, I love this, that it's like ripped off and everything. I don't know. I'm a sucker for a bit of nostalgia. So this is like a fun ode to the 90s and 80s, I guess. This is my Sharpie one. So this was with the Sharpie Creative. They actually worked quite well. I was a bit worried they wouldn't be opaque enough, but they actually turned out pretty well. And as you can see, this one is inspired by some donuts. So I didn't have all the colors to like fully match it, but each of these I did a little bit of blending, like light to dark, and I kind of treated it as like three blobby sort of like icing, and then you've got my streaks of the icing, like the white icing on this one, and then the sprinkles. So that was a bit of fun. I like how that one turned out. I think it's kind of cute. We have a Ohuhu. I like this one less. It was quite difficult to do, but I think for me, the end color palette came out a bit darker than maybe what I thought it was going to come out. I think because I really lacked these sort of lighter, this lighter color, and even the light purple went a bit darker. So I'm not sure that I'll include this one in my final display, just because the color doesn't go with a lot of these other ones quite so well. But it was still a bit of fun and a bit of a challenge to do. So that's my Ohuhu. Then we've got InMuse. Oh, this I think might just be my favorite tape design. Not necessarily my favorite markers, but I did give them...
Looks like a watermelon.
Thank you, Shane. I did give them a 4.5 out of 5 according to my sticky note here. So this one is my watermelon. This one, I did a few layers and you could still see the writing underneath. And I was asking Holly, who was here at the time, I was like, I'm kind of thinking of leaving the writing underneath because again, it's that just slight extra nostalgia where there's like this little hidden message underneath of whatever it was. I'm not sure what it's easy listening classics. So in the Hall of the Mountain King. That's really funny, Will, because we had a whole section in our resin video where we talked... okay, if you're watching our resin video where I tried resin with Evan and Caitlin, there's a scene where we slowly unravel the chaos that has happened on Evan and Caitlin's channel. And because the song behind that was that song, we kept calling that the Mountain King scene. Because our thing was it had to slowly become more chaotic. And it's
How is that an easy listening song then?
You're right, it's not. It shouldn't be on this tape. Oh, the back, here we go. The back tells me a little bit easier what they are. So Symphony number 9, Symphony number 5, Polka, March, Vienna Blood Waltz. Doesn't really sound like easy listening.
This is very much not. This is like I'm about to murder someone listening.
Maybe. So that's kind of fun. And there's side 1 and side 2, so they're not the same on either side. Anyway, that is not why we're here, but it is a bit of fun. So that was the in-use. They were pretty good to use. I did try and do a bit of a gradient down the bottom. This is one of those things where it would have really helped to just use a brush because that did a pretty good job. But blending paint on paint and adding more paint as you go is naturally going to be hard. This is my grabby one. So you can see here I used the gradient of the sky, but then this one I struggled to blend. So instead I just did straight lines and I used the dots just to kind of pull the colors back together. And this is my mountain. I thought that'd be a fun little way to just outline it with that. And I've also just picked a solid color on the outside for each of these. So while the back isn't painted, it does go right around the edge. So I like how that one turned out.
We have a comment here from Melville, one of our members, who's chilling here for the next 15 minutes until she plays D&D.
Oh, fun. I still have never played D&D. All right, Just Art. Now this one is quite the chaotic tape, but I like how it turned out because it is based on this pigmented kind of thing. So it's almost like...
That looks really cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of dots. I started with the colors underneath and just like patchy colors. And then I just went to town with dots. So a lot of fun. What else have I got? No, that's my to-do pile. Oh, Faber-Castell. This one I didn't do with the palette because I had such a limited range of colors already that it was the palette. And I thought, what a fun little tribute to, in fact, I think that the painting that this is by, and I cannot think of the name of the artist right now, but it's a Bauhaus themed sort of art piece. I think it actually does include yellow, and yellow was the only other color in this set. And I was like, oh, well, I just won't use that one. But in hindsight, the original piece might have yellow in it. So I could have actually used the whole set of colors. But I like it. I like how it came out. I think it's kind of cute. They all look like faces though too. Can you see it? The eyes and the mouth, they're all like derpy smiles.
Do you know one of my favorite online, I think Facebook groups is like a page that's called Faces in Things, and it's just photos of random stuff that looks like a face and you just can't unsee it.
Yeah. This one is what we call in here Dr. Awful, but they weren't actually that awful. Drawful, Dr. Awful. These did actually better than I expected. Now I did try and work out how to, because I don't like this tape as much as the others, but I did want to try and replicate the sort of city vibes on it. And actually the black went down really well. I haven't tested the black specifically in each range. There are so many tests I wanted to do with these paint pens, and it was sort of reached a point of I can't test everything. So trying to sort of work out, otherwise this would be 3 months work. And I kind of wanted to, already this video has been a 2-month video. And it reaches a point where we're just losing a ton of money by trying to do this if I take too long. So I want to make sure that I can be realistic. But I was actually quite surprised at how well these did, and the black came out really well. So I think that's all the ones I've done so far, other than just my random, just testing every brand as I go and kind of drawing something. But today I've got more to test. There's a lot here. These would be great as artist trading cards. I love that idea. That is really cool. So today I've got the ones I want to do. I've got Molotow, is that how you say it? Yep. Molotow I want to do. I'm not going to get all these done realistically. We'll pick a couple. Maybe you can tell me which ones you're most interested in. I've got Artex. I've got Pilot. I don't think I have a picture for Artx. That's weird. Pilot, which I thought could just use this, would be fun. I've got Tooli-Art, and I've got a few options for Tooli-Art. One of these, kind of pretty-ish. And I've got, these are my to-do pile. Ugh. Tapes and palettes everywhere. Oh, Posca. I'm not going to get all these done. So let me know which ones you're the most interested in. That would be great. Tooli-Art with one of those. And then I've got another one over here for the Artistro, possibly. So, oh, no, I've got a lot of options for you. I've got the Copic, and then I've got the Karin. So, knowing how many I've done and how long that took, we're probably only going to have time for 3 of these. So let me know if there's anything you're like, please, please, please do this one. Can I just show you while we work that out? I want to show you because Karin, I had an old set that I've had for a while of their real brush pigment pens. I actually reached out to a friend at Ohuhu who are very close with Karin. So they ended up sending me like the whole paint pen range. I have to show you, it's back here. It's crazy big. So that you do know, we have, like, I've bought most of these markers, but there are a few brands. And again, the main video when we do it, I'm going to have a very clear list, but like Artex have sent me most, I think, of all but one of the sets of theirs. And I bought that one set. Ohuhu have sent me theirs. And Karin have sent me theirs. There might be one or two others. So there is obviously like, I like to be transparent in letting you know when they've bought them. I also try not to like make a note of it. In fact, I don't remember all the ones that different brands have sent me. And there was one brand, I won't name them because that's not really fair, but there was one brand that reached out and asked if I could review their markers. And I was like, look, I've got this video coming up. Please send them and they can be a part of this. But just so you know, I'm going to be comparing them against all these other brands. If you don't think they can stand up, don't send them. Like, I'm not playing favorites. And they were like, oh yeah, sounds good. Cool. So can you put this link and can you tell people? And I was like, whoa, hang on.
And can we review the video before?
Yeah, can we see the video before you publish it? And I was like, whoa, hang on. No. Like, this is not like a sponsorship thing. I'm testing the markers. If you want to be included, great, because that particular brand I hadn't bought at the time. And I'm like, I'm reviewing them, but like, this is not a sponsored video. This is not a product placement. This is like, you just want to be a part of the test. If that's not going to work for you, don't send them.
Which you would if you thought your markers were really, really good.
Yeah, if you thought your markers were really, really good, you'd be like, great. What's interesting is that they told me they were going to send them. And that was 2 weeks ago and they haven't arrived. So again, I'm not going to name the brand, but I am going to continue the conversation with them. And I'm like 80% of the way through these tests. So it's possible they won't arrive. If they don't arrive and the conversation doesn't go well before we release all this, their brand will be listed in my blog with a little note about the fact that they chose not to include them. Gossip. No, so I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so I want to show you the Karin markers because while I don't know yet how they fare in the testing, I really liked their really, really cool packaging, and it will definitely be living on my set for a while after this because it's big and it's pretty and it's colourful, and it's big and it's pretty and it's colourful.
So Caitlin has said, if you need a card option for Artx, might I throw out 864?
Okay. Yeah, we can. That's sort of within the range of the ones that I've grabbed. So we'll see if we can find that because I'm curious what you're thinking. All right. These aren't light. Push everything else out of the way. So this is what Karin sent me. It's the master set. Now I have no idea what this is worth because from what I remember, their markers are not cheap. And the one that's missing is because it's around here somewhere because I've been testing with them. But this is the Deco brush and the real brush. So I originally had one of these, which is still back there. And I think I've only opened one of these so far. But what I like about these okay, just product design nerd for a second. I love that like they have this here, but this is actually just a detachable little thing. So like you've got your about and how to, but then you've got the clean actual box underneath. You may see this show up on one of our products in the near future. I don't know, because I think it's a really cool way to like show people what the product is without feeling like you've got permanent advertising on your product. So I thought that was cool. They have a nice little magnet kind of latch, which I do really like. You open it up and it feels like you're opening like, I don't know, not a box of chocolates, more like a jewelry, right? The box of chocolates is more like the Artex style.
I was thinking like, actually I won't say. I'll go with box of chocolates.
Yeah. I don't know where your brain's going. And apparently I have opened this because there's a marker missing. But what's interesting with these, I've never seen this before. This is like plastic. So they stay really, really well. What I don't like about that though, is that the plastic, let's see if I can get a good shot of this. These, in order to get them out, you can't get your fingers around them. The only way to pull them out is to kind of grab this. But can you imagine grabbing this over and over? That is not good for the lid. Like, it's not going to wreck the marker, but I just think the risk of snapping that is really high. What I do like, though, is that they do snap and lock into place. I would have loved if they have created, like, just a little hole so that you could get your fingers around it.
Or if they put, like, made the bottom part a little bit deeper and you could kind of, like, just push it down and it sort of pops out the top.
Oh, yeah, like you push it in and this kind of sits up.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So product design, I feel like there's a little bit of room for improvement. But that's not the actual markers. That's just the product box. I do like how they've given us an option where they sit flat, but it looks good because the flat is important for paint markers. And obviously I haven't even opened all these, and I'm going to be testing not the whole lot, but enough to compare them against all these. But
How many
like
markers do you have in total, do you think?
Oh, we did just paint markers. We have totaled it. It's over 1,000, but I don't actually know. So there is a count that's going to be included in our video. So this is the same type of thing, but just so that you know, I want to show you the difference between these two, and then we'll get on with the video, right? So they also have like customization kits. This is an interesting option. Oh, did you make me a coffee? Perfectly Minecraft coffee. Thank you, Will. Didn't even ask for it. My team are wonderful. So one of the things that I've done with these, with my reviews, is actually reviewing the information on the markers. What I haven't considered though, Shane, and maybe this is a flaw in my judgment system, is when they've offered things like this, that's like a customization kit, where this is like stickers. So you could actually swatch out the marker and then attach it on here. I don't know if I'd want to though, like, because there's not like there's like a space on here. So you'd actually have to cover up some of the art in order to use the stickers.
I mean, I do appreciate the thought in that, like, a big issue is that the things don't match the markers. The colours don't match. That is a workaround. So that's good.
I just, there's a part of me that's like, yeah, but unless this is intended, no, but so then they also have it on here, which is also a great idea because that's like quickly, easy to reference. So I'm not sure if I would ever use this, but I think it's good that brands are starting to think about this kind of thing.
You could cut that sticker into like a third. And
you could make it a lot smaller.
Like a smaller version on the end or something.
There's no like clear thing unless you just covered up all the information. These ones aren't as bad as some. These actually do have a fair bit of information on the barrel, but I've done like a whole scoring system. There's so much going into this big video. I'll tell you what, honestly, I could probably split it into multiple part series, which would probably actually be better for our sanity and for our views and for all the things. But I don't know, I like having all the information in one place. So this is where what I want to do and what's a good idea. It doesn't necessarily match up. I'm gonna put these back on the shelf. Did we work out, Shane, any that we want people that we're wanting to do first?
Sorry, I was just having a sip of coffee.
Oh, you got a coffee too?
Yeah.
Oh, Will is like winning today in the coffee department.
Caitlin mentioned maybe the label could be more for the cap than the actual pen.
Yeah, that's good too. The cap has a little bit on it. I guess then I've got some of them right here. The only thing if you put it on the cap is that the cap has about half of that space. Do you have a close camera? I can show this closer. I don't know if our side camera's set up for that today.
Yes, we have this close side one.
Oh, we do. I can give you like a... There we go. I don't know where the focus point is. There we go. So this is on the cap. You do have this kind of gap behind here if you were like good with a sticker and could figure out how to sort of get it neatly out of there. But you see what I mean by like this is actually the old one, so it might be a little bit different.
I mean, I just cover up the barcode.
Yeah, but that also has the actual colour. So I guess if you cut it small enough for this, because that part there is actually the only part on the market that has that information. The other thing that I notice a lot of the paint pens do is that they have the information on the cap, which is great until you take all the caps off, like more than one at a time if you like blending. And then if they don't have like a reference, like this has the word, you're going to put the wrong caps back on and then all that information's kind of useless. But yeah, these ones are better than most in that. I didn't show you the difference, sorry. So the real brush, since we're here nice and close up, the real brush is different in that it's actually like, trying to show you by ruining it in the process.
It's like bristly.
yeah, can you see how they're like, you should never use them like this. This is going to...
It's like a brush.
Like an actual brush. Like it splits up. No, I'm not doing it with my hand. It splits up. If I kind of twist it, it's very hard to see because of all the paint. But that is what the pigment real brush is. And I think Karin are the only brand that offer that. Everyone else is the Deco brush, which I happen to have right here as well. This is pure coincidence. This was not planned. This is the Deco brush. So this one is more like what you see all the other new brands have, where they all have this cool ink chamber thing, by the way, too. But this one doesn't break up. It's like a solid piece of something. So I don't know how well you can tell the difference there. And I'm struggling with my looking at the camera, trying to work out my angles. But that one is, yeah, different to the other one that I just showed you in that it's one solid piece. So that's the difference between the two different Karin types. Their real brush is the only brand that I have seen have a real brush.
Sarah Chalk says it's a real brush.
It is a real brush. Very, very descriptive.
Clear over clever.
My computer keeps going to sleep. The other one is actually, a lot of the brands, especially the newer brands, are leaning into this other style. It's called like direct ink flow, free ink system, all this stuff. I call it the labyrinth paint pen because they all have, that's the real brush again, but they all have this like section here. Can I show you? Let me try and give you another big close up with my, oh, here we are, here we are. They all have this magic of trying to do this live.
You're a bit close.
Bit close, back,
there
back.
You go.
There
Stop.
we
right
go.
There.
Right there. So I've just made a big mess of that one. But see how they have this like system in the middle? It's basically like a labyrinth that the paint has to go through. So I call them the labyrinth pens. That's become our internal code so that we know the difference between those and some of the others. Oh, Shane, I haven't started painting. What are we doing? I'm blaming this on you for not keeping me in time. All right, what are we doing first? Which one? Which one? Which one?
Get back to work.
Which one? You're supposed to be keeping track of the comments.
Well, I don't think there's been any suggestions.
No, so we're just doing whichever one.
Everyone's just
Okay, well, I'm
chatting with each other and ignoring you.
Thank you, everyone, for ignoring me. I feel...
Everyone's built a community around you that doesn't include you anymore.
Oh, that's okay. I won't be... That's a good thing. All right, I'm going to go for Pilot because this one to me... Let me just give myself some space because at the same time that we're doing this live stream, I'm also recording some fun little videos and I've lost my blue tack that I usually have a slab of under my desk. Oh. All I have here is what looks like blue tack, but is
having
actually
a slab of blue tack
eraser.
under your desk to me feels like when you're at high school and
it's exactly what it feels like. And I put my hand under here and go, there it is. But I always know where it is, and it's not there today. That's all right. Will's got me covered. Oh, this is one of the tapes that has the really cool like red. Anyway, this was one of the tapes I actually liked, but we've destroyed it. Oh, fun. All right. Caitlin's blaming Shane. Can you give me a top camera, Shane, so I can set this up? Actually, I've got a little side view over there. There we go. Look at that. We've got that not glued down, blue tack down. This is how I get them not to move, because what we're going to do with this video is we're going to crop like this right here. And what's in the middle here, not all the mess here, is actually going to be a reel or a YouTube short. And that's just fun of me decorating it. And you can be here and go, haha, I actually saw her doing that and all the failures and all this kind of stuff. So that's fun. So we have the Pilot. These, on some of the other tests, I was really impressed with these.
I apologise to Caitlin, who suggested Artx and has told me that I have lied and slandered the community. So I'd like to formally apologise.
Formally apologise.
Yes.
Well, despite the suggestion for Artex that was missed by Shane.
Maybe that can be the next one.
That can be the next one, but
Because
also...
You should get more than one done.
At this rate, it's not looking hopeful. What I will say is that it's actually really cool to start with Pilot because some of the classic paint markers and some of the like heritage paint brands, they all have this type of marker, and all the new markers don't make the pretty sound. And out of them, the Pilot actually is one of the nicest sounds. Is that a weird thing to matter? Listen to this. Let me do them all at once. Ready? Bit of ASMR for your day.
Maybe if you're ever like having trouble sleeping, you could just like record a like slow.
I lost one. Flew away. I think they're mixed. What do you think? The problem is you have to do this every time you want to use them. I have used all these pens so much in the last like 3 weeks and they do not stay activated. So
Yeah, but typically you're not using like 80 paint pens at a time.
yeah, but like you'd think that like if you use it the next day that you wouldn't have to do all this all over again. I need like a machine that does it for me. I feel like we could do a whole video about just shaking. Oh, that's actually a really good exercise for your arms if you do it long enough. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So we've got our pilot markers. Give me a top camera for a second. Little behind the scenes on the reel. I want to do like a... Is that good? Let's try it again. Ready? I got to remember it's cropped to here. What do we think? Should I try again? I think I'm going to not do the big ones. Or at least not that big one. Maybe ditch the black. Use the colors I'm actually going to use in my color. So this is my color palette. It disappeared. Let's try that again.
Nailed it.
They all left. They're all like off screen. I think we can make it work. So I like making videos. It's fun. All right, so we have our palette. So for this we need yellow, orange. I tried to pick this palette because I don't actually have a lot of options and I noticed that pretty much this is well covered just with the options that I have. I don't know if that green or that green's better.
Palette number 701.
Yep.
From volume...
Oh, that would be 3.
3.
Is that right?
Yes.
So, yep, volume 3, yep. So these are all my...
What category is that in? Is that...
Oh, why would you ask me questions like that? I don't know. It's probably in the brights category, this one. That would make sense that it would be in the, or the rainbows category because it's very much rainbow colors. So it could be one of those. Okay, so we're gonna put that there so you can see it, but it won't be in my reel. And this is gonna be a really simple one to start with. What I will need to do is have a backup page because even after all that shaking, the paint pens never seem to work straight away because, and that one actually worked pretty well straight away. They either tend to be watery or unmixed or whatever, because even though we've just shaken all of this paint here can't be shaken. In fact, let me just, no, I'm going to start painting. We've done so much and not actually done anything, right?
Apparently Jennifer Stay has an instrument to shake her paint pens.
Okay, this is a great opportunity
like a
for me to
machine.
give Jennifer a shout out because as I have been planning this whole video, in the meantime, it turns out Jennifer has been planning the exact same video and I feel a little bit bad about that, but I actually think it's going to work out. But I do, because I think people come to my video or her video and then YouTube will hopefully recommend the other one. So hopefully like it actually works in both of our favors. But I do want to say to everyone here, please go check out Jennifer's videos, Coloring Bliss. She has done extensive paint pen testing and talks through a lot of the stuff that I know I was going to talk through. And now that you mention it, because I watched a little bit of her one, she has a machine and she like put the paint pen and it like jiggled it and it like mixes it. I don't have that. I've been doing it all by hand.
Like a sucker.
Like a sucker. So I'm kind of just trying to reactivate this pen here. I don't know if you can see, even just as I've been scribbling, like that there was the first line I did and this here is the second line, and you can see that this is like watered and this is not. So if I was to not like give these a bit of a run and get the old paint out of the tip and just like go for it, you wouldn't see accurately what the paint pens are like. The problem is with a fine tip like this, I don't know how much you can see that, by trying to pull the new paint in, I've flooded it. And the fine tips are the worst at getting clogged up if you flood them. So I feel like this is like just a paint pen problem. This is not this brand. This is like a paint pen problem across the brands where I don't think, so that's like a really big mess now. I think I need like a cloth. I don't think I have any cloth nearby. This is like a problem that no one really has solved yet of like, how do you get the paint to mix, but then get the fresh paint through to the tip? because the paint's always unmixed. And so part of it is them trying to work out a formula so that the paint stays better mixed. But then because the pigment is so heavy, it then like, because this is not like paint with a paintbrush, but it's actually, oh, you've got some, thank you. Will to the rescue again. Am I making sense? Sorry, because the paint in these needs to be watery enough to get through the pen. Just pulling out the whole end here so I can see what the other end of this one looks like. So this is one that, I mean, maybe before using it, you just come and clean it out and then start over. So this one has like the plastic tip rather than the felt tip, and they're the worst at getting clogged if you put too much paint through them. But what's interesting is that like, this isn't gonna leak paint now that I take it out because of the way these paint pens work. I'm going way into all of the nerdy stuff that I'm really fascinated by instead of actually just painting. Sorry, and I've just flooded it again. After all that. It's flooding because there's no more room in the paint chamber, and so it's just going to nothing. All right. But I think they're all mixed pretty well. The red's a bit watery, so we'll give that one a bit more of a... So you really... The other thing is the paint dries in the end, so what were really great paint pans the first day I used them are now a bit streaky, and so you kind of have to like clean it all out again, or try to work out how to stop the paint drying. And like these are reoccurring problems across brands. And I think some of the new technology that they're coming up with is helping with this, but then they introduce other problems. And so this is part of what I'm trying to work out. Maybe there's a second video for us on why nobody can make a good paint pen. Maybe that's the video we need to make, because this is like, there you go, so that's already working. See that, if you had to use that there, you would think, okay, this paint pen sucks, but already, look at that right next to it, same pen. All I've done is just keep it going to get the new paint through instead of relying on the dry paint. This is not a problem that happens with almost any other art supply. It is unique to paint pens, and it is frustrating. And I actually think that a lot of Amazon reviews of people that are like, these pens suck, is because they don't know to expect this. So, the simple thing with this one is we are going to just be doing some, I might get the thicker colors first. No? Oh, they're all basically the same size. Okay. I've got a few different size pens here, but I'm planning on just doing like a giant triangle thing. Now, this is the right side, right? Because we did, yes, we did, what do you call it? Prime one side with like a fake primer. Not a fake primer, a plastic primer.
It was very much a real primer.
I said fake because I just read the comment from Maria Soto about her fake Prismas right as I was talking. My multitasking is off game today. So we're going for a bit of a triangle here. Part of what I want to know with these pens is like how many layers I need. In fact, I'm not going to be able to judge on this how many layers before it like covers up the writing, because there's no writing on this one. So that's where I'll grab one of those extra tapes that we have to do that. So the eye went down a bit scratchy, but that's okay.
I want to ask a question of everyone. Does everybody like the nerd tangents in Sarah's videos?
Do you want more nerd or more art? And the same goes for live streams too. Like, we don't need our live streams to be like the same as our main videos, where it's like I could do more colouring in the live streams and save my really nerdy deep dives for our main videos, or we can just bring it all together and follow my brain wherever it leads us.
Can you dip the tip of the pens in warm water?
You could. I don't, like, you would still, after doing, like, I don't know if that would help. I think for some brands, in theory, because they're acrylic, you'd think that that would help just sort of loosen them up, or warm soapy water to kind of clean them out and freshen them up. Then you just have to go through that process of bringing the new paint back in. The problem is whatever version of that you do, whether you just do what I've done or whether you actively like clean out the tip, you're wasting a lot of paint either way. And that, I think, is the catch with paint pens, is there's not really a way to do it without wasting a lot of water. One thing I will say about these is that the colours are quite vibrant. And that's something that with all the new paint pens, like the cotton core paint pens, which maybe stay a little bit better mixed, they all seem to be muted pastel colours. They don't seem to be the right colours. I'll tell you what, maybe there is a video for us in exploring how to actually make a paint pen that doesn't have all these problems, and is it even possible?
You're doing the pilot one at the moment, aren't you?
Yes, yeah. This is Pilot Pintor. I like them so far. They've got a lot of different tips, kind of like the Poscas, how they have a lot of different tips. They are all the classic type of tip, but I will say that a lot of the classic tips I'm finding are not holding up to Posca level. Like even some of the really famous paint brands, or the big paint brands like, what's some paint brands like Liquitex and Edding and a few other brands that like I would expect to do really well aren't doing as well. The Pilot are still kind of keeping up. Like even these so far, I've only done one coat. This purple is a bit watery, so I don't think I really ran it out though to get the new paint through, so that might also just be on me. But the Pilot is so far doing pretty well for one coat of colour. Like it's not too watery and washed out. You can already see this side is less watery than this side because I think I just needed to use the marker more before doing it on this. And it would have worked. But yeah, these are all the things I'm trying to test. And I'm trying to make sure I put them through enough tests that I can be objective about it too. Okay, so here's something interesting happening. Can you see how I've put those two colours together? And now they're like blending. Can you see that showing from the top camera? See how it's like leaking into the blue?
Like bleeding really bad.
Yeah. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is important to know if your brand's going to do that. It's weird that it didn't do it on the other colours, but that's because these two are wet. And that tells me they might actually blend well together, but it does mean that if I'm wanting to do them side by side like I am now, that you'd probably want to give the first one a bit of time to dry before coming in with the second colour. Like say I'm doing it now down here below where it's a bit more dry and this is not doing that. So that's really just if you know what to expect, then you can kind of adjust your technique. So I will have to do a second layer of them. I want to pause for a second and try these on some of these other tapes where I've got stuff to cover up like words and stuff, like the monkey's greatest hits. That's fun. I just want to see, sorry monkeys. That is, I mean, let's let it dry, but I think these are pretty good for an opacity straight off the bat. Look at that. Like it's, as it dries, it might come through a bit, but you might need a second coat at most. A lot of the brands aren't that good straight off the bat.
Is the tape primed?
This one here isn't. This one here is.
Well, I suppose the one on the bottom, though, you were mostly drawing on a label, so that
yes,
it's a bit different.
It's primed on the other side. But let me, like, also draw on this as well, just so we have a reference. This is why I have a lot of tapes here that are just like, whatever. Oh, I want to see if I can blend them. All right, hang on, that one's wet now. Let me find another tape that hasn't got, this has stuff on it, but I can sort of do that. All right. I want to try two colours that are a bit more opposite. So like red and yellow, if they blend right, should make, although the yellow's a fine tip. Fine tips are not great for blending. So maybe that wasn't a good example. That was a terrible example, actually. Let me do, what's one of these better tips? I've got the green, the blue and the purple are not too close together. The purple's a fine tip again. I don't want to go too crazy because that's not fair to them, but all right, let's try red. Oh, hang on. Okay, this is also worth noting. So on old paint, this paint's like a week old now, and I don't know what brand this is, but it's just acrylic paint in general. This is actually ripping that up. That's not good, because that means if you're painting on top of paint, and it might just be because this is on plastic and this one isn't primed. I don't know. That's not a good, it's not doing it as much on here. So that might be more about the paint underneath, which I couldn't even tell you what brand that is. These are all things that I'm just paying attention to all these different things to try and make sure that that I'm giving the pens the best chance, but also being thorough with them. I wanted to work out blending. It's probably not good to try and do a blend on top of all these other colours, but...
Do you have the Just Art pens?
Yes. Alright, just trying to see what happens. This might be really messing this up because if it's reactivating anything underneath it, then it's just going to go grey. But it doesn't seem to be hating being blended. I'm going to try it on a fresh cassette tape. Or, what if we just try it on some paper? Mess. If we just put some paint down and then see. Let me see that. Have you got that one? So what I'm trying to do with the blending apparently does not work on paper. Yeah, it didn't work that. Ooh. That's like wrecked that marker now. Because I want people to be able to know if they can blend these. But that does not like being layered on itself. I'm going to do it with that one because that's going to block that straight away. What's the red like? Maybe that's the... So I would not give these a good score for blending. What do I give them? They are great for the opacity. Really impressed by the opacity. Yeah, they're not really blending much at all. They're kind of just overriding each other. Even on the plastic. I mean, you can get a bit... no, I wouldn't say these are good for blending unless using something else. I did get a bit of a mix there, but it didn't really blend all that well. So I'm going to say blending... they get like a 2.5 or a 3. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. I've lost my note that I had for this pilot. I think it's under here. I'll write it with this because I've also lost my pen. So blending, that we're going to give them, what do you think, guys? A 2.5 out of 5 or a 3 out of 5 based on what you've seen? Whoops.
Or as our oldest child would say, a 6 or a 7.
Out of 5. I mean, like it's not, I'm going to give them a 3. It's not like bad, but they're not really blending well, which is a case for a lot of the traditional markers. What I will say is, where's that one? That is so opaque. That opacity is amazing. So I'm going to make a note of that. So this live stream feels a little bit more chaotic than usual because I'm also trying to just rank this stuff so that I have this information for my actual video. So the opacity is great.
We have a 2.5 in the comments.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to write maybe 2.5 here because I've got to also work out what my scoring was for everything else to kind of like even it out. So we'll have a look. All right. Let's get back to finishing this art though, because now we know that's really good. A second layer on that and whatever's under it will be gone. So that's really cool. And you can, once that's dry, do a second layer fairly well. It does kind of pull it up a bit. But let's come back and fix this now that it has dried. They're very juicy, but also there's a lot of color in it. Like they're not watery. Juicy but not watery is kind of the perfect thing for a paint pen. Like they're letting out a lot of paint and a lot of color, which is great. But I also do feel like I've got pretty good control over them, even this thicker big one. That's something that I can't say for every brand I've tried. I do want to come back and just make sure these earlier colors, I think my yellow fell on the floor. If I do yellow next to that now, it's definitely going to run. Maybe I should do every second color and then fill in the gaps. That actually might be a better approach to this. The yellow is the fine tip, which is like that plasticky tip. So it's a little bit scratchier than the others. But it's also not bad. So green, red. So let's actually just leave gaps because then I can do them all a bit quicker. And we'll let them dry. And then the other color we can fill in between. I wanted to just keep the patterns on these fairly simple, like rather than trying to like paint a portrait on a cassette tape, because my goal is more that, for one, to test the pens, but I just thought if I can create some fun art at the same time, that's a bonus. And I would like to, at the end, like put them all on a wall in a frame or something. I think that'd be cool. These ones are really fine tip. I could actually probably do some really fine lines with the finer one. That's actually really good. It's only scratchy when I hit the edge of the thing. But I would say these are overall quite nice to use. I'd probably give them, like for the painting on plastic, a 4 or a 4.5. I'm going to write that on here so I don't forget. 4.5 or 4 is my final score for the Pilot Pintor for their work. Gee, the green lets out a lot more paint, being so much bigger. I mean, look at the size of that tip, so it makes sense that it does. Whoops. I do only have a small range of them. There's
great for fine details.
Yeah, great for fine details. And because I'm using it sideways, it's like putting a lot more paint down than what it would if I used it the other way. But I mean, I guess normally you'd buy, like I've kind of bought like all different sizes because I wanted to try them all and see how they went. So I guess you normally wouldn't really do that. You'd normally just buy the size that you need. These are nice to use too. I found a lot of the sort of Posca style, like the pump pens that you have to shake, like that sort of traditional paint pen, a lot of them just like, they don't live up to the Poscas, so you might as well just buy the Poscas. It's kind of a lot of what I've learned in this. The new paint pens are a completely different category and a different game. And there's some really cool stuff that's come out. I am thinking that with some of these pens, once I sort of like pull them together, I kind of want to just do a little bit of extra testing even off camera, just to make sure that I am consistent with some of the scoring. So like we're talking about the 2.5 as an example of like, are all my 2.5s roughly the same? Like I want to make sure that it's not just based off like a single experience, which does mean taking a lot more time for me to sort of settle on scores, but I really struggle with things that are subjective. I want them to be objective, and so I'll go to extra effort to make sure that I'm trying to create an objective score if that's possible to do. It also means that if they're objective scores, then I don't have to worry about accidentally favoring brands that have given stuff to me, even if it's like subconscious, you know? I just realized my center line is like moved up as we go. Hey, wait, it's okay because so did the one on the picture. See, just being true to the reference. It's interesting looking at this, and you probably can't really tell from the video, but the green is drying so much slower than the other colors. And I think that's just because it's such a bigger marker. It's just naturally giving a lot more paint. And so because the barrel, well, no, I guess it is thicker as well. It'd be interesting to see how long they last. Okay, because even this green's not dry. All the greens are still wet. The purples are dry enough. So I could come through and do the reds. I'm going to just tidy up this first purple with that bit that bled from the blue. And because the purple down the bottom was a bit watery at first. That orange here did bleed a bit into that yellow. So I'll just come and clean it up because the yellow's a fine line. I think the really fine tip in this set is probably my least favorite, but they do have a purpose. But if you're doing stuff like this, they're not. It's not great to use a fine tip to color a big area. I do think this is only going to need one coat. That's great. Because if you do ever want to do like, and well, the other thing is these are drying very true to what, oh, that was risky. I almost just activated it and that would have spilled ink everywhere. But I can't quite get into the little gaps of that 50.
being true to the color is something that I am really considering, because it's really frustrating, and acrylic paint is known for drying darker than it looks. But I find that to be really discouraging when you're painting if it just doesn't dry like what you're expecting. Makes it so hard to know what you're drawing, or to go back and find the same color again. Oh, that's a pain. Whereas these, like, you look at the red I'm putting down versus the red back here, it's like the same color. What colour should I do on the outside of this one, do you think, based on the colours in it? Should I do it like a purple, or should I do the green, because that's quite out there? The red, because there's reds and oranges, so that's kind of like a prominent colour. Let me know what you think. Okay, what's the last one we've got? Is, no, hang on, what's blue and then yellow? That's what I'm missing. Both next to the green, so a little bit risky, but we'll see how we go.
Pink is a suggestion.
I do have a pink here, but it's a really big pink marker. I want to use one of the colours I've already got in here. So these are our options. I should have, my desk is such a mess. I'm like arms on top of everything. It's fun to paint on things like this because it's like inherently an interesting object, and so it doesn't take much to look cool, and it is fun to do. One thing I've noticed in doing all these is that this bottom bit on the cassette tapes is different to the rest on every single tape. Like all these different manufacturers and all this, they are all shiny and then matte around this and here. And it's been like a consistent pattern.
I suppose because they'd normally put the label over the shiny bit.
Ah, yes, they need it to be like easier to apply. But it's just kind of funny that like they all have that exact same system. Or like with this one, it's got the pattern. As yeah, it's the pattern, and then the middle bit is the part where the sticker goes down. So that's cool. I kind of don't want to, I like that one as is. It's kind of fun. With the 2. I don't know what 2 is about. Okay, oh, got some more blue to do. Almost done with our first tape. I think we can get 3 done during this. I did spend the first half hour just like talking about random stuff. Oh, don't forget this one over here. It's a little bit awkward over some of the bumps, but not too bad.
Are these tapes your old tapes that you used to play?
No, I didn't keep most of my tapes. I had to go hunt these down from someone else. So I actually went through my uncle's collection to get these ones. So shout out to my Uncle Graham for his tape collection. He very generously parted with so that I could turn them into art.
Have you thought about doing a black border on that?
I originally was going to do that on all of them, but a lot of the stuff that I do has like black borders in general, and I kind of just felt like doing something different on these. So on all the other ones, I mean, this one has the black, but all these other ones I've tried to pick a colour from in it to kind of bring around the outside, and I actually really like how they're turning out with that. That's why I was kind of thinking of just picking a colour. So like even this one that has like distinct colours, I still just went the purple on the outside. So it's kind of like working out which colour from the inside would finish it off around the whole thing. Not the yellow, because this pen is a little bit annoying. Any other option? What do you think, Shane? What's your creative opinion?
Well, I like the blue and the purple. But I think maybe the purple.
The purple could work. I'm leaning towards the purple or the red. Because whatever colour I put on the outside will then stand out more in the actual piece as well. And I'm not really a fan of green enough to make it green. The red does have, like, it feels like there's more red because of all the warm colours there next to each other. It would have been different if I brought in like a darker blue, and then that could have brought more attention to the blues.
Fun fact from Cajun Hawk, found tapes that their band recorded in 1999, and the quality is horrible, but the nostalgia.
Yeah, you're not going to get any good audio off a cassette tape, but they are fun as props.
The funny thing is though, like, because I used to listen to cassettes when I was a kid, and it's not as if you ever listen to it and went, oh, the audio's not any good. It's like what you were used to. So
yeah, but they've also deteriorated over time though.
Yeah.
So even like if they weren't too bad back then, those same tapes now, you'd barely be able to hear the audio.
But it's like when you watch an old VHS movie or something that was before like HD and 4K. It's not like you ever watched it then and thought the quality wasn't any good because it was what you were used to.
You know what's
so it
actually
looked great back then.
You know what's the best shock value for doing that? I watched Seinfeld from the start right through, and the first time round, the first episode catches your attention of like, oh wow, that's really poor quality. But by like 2 episodes in, you don't notice it and you just get used to it until you get to the final episode. And in the case when I was watching it, it was just on reruns on TV. And so they played the final episode, but they were always doing 2 episodes. And so they didn't have a second episode. So they played the first episode again. And the contrast between the final episode back to the first episode was like, whoa, how did I not notice that when I watched it the first time? It was just like, it was really surprising how how much the quality changed over time, and because it happened so gradually, you just don't notice.
Similar thing with like The Simpsons.
Yeah.
When you watch like the animation in like how it is now, it's animated really well. Like regardless of whether the story's any good, animation's pretty good. But you look at like the first ones, you're like, that sucks.
All right, I am leaning towards red. What do we think? Red? Oh, wait. What have some other people said? I have seen someone else say purple. Shane, have you been reading the comments? What's the deal?
Teal.
No, you can't do teal. There's no teal on this.
Well, it's a combination of blue and green.
No, you can't introduce a new colour. We have a palette we're working on.
Red feels too bold. Purple would be lovely. I have seen a couple of purples. I think maybe it's the purple.
Yeah. My purple is actually quite different from the palette purple. I feel like my colours are really like the boldest version of every colour, whereas these is a bit more variety. So I feel like my final colour palette doesn't look quite as pretty as what's on here. But it's still fun, and it was a good sort of like place to start. This one's one of the really fine tip ones. That's annoying. This is the part where... Oh, why is my top camera shaking so much? Is that me doing that?
No, I think that's me accidentally wobbling the screen.
Oh, it's not the top camera shaking, it's the screen, because the screen's next to Shane. Sorry, this is the part where we pull the tape off.
I've either had not enough coffee or too much coffee.
My coffee's sitting here 3/4 full. I think because I'm a bit warm today, I don't really need it. I can't say. All right. So I'm taking this off because it's much easier to do the sides. Oh, this is... You know what? I'm going to veto the purple because it's the fine tip. It's going to take forever. What's the blue?
Do you need to wipe off that purple?
No, it's fine. I'll just start on the other side and it will paint over because it's paint and it can do that. The blue will actually look a bit weird. I think there's too much red. Sorry, guys. I'm going back to the red. Or the orange. Oh, I don't like oranges.
Maybe you need to go black.
Maybe I need to just stick with the purple and just accept the time involved.
What markers are you using at the moment?
These are the Pilot Pintor. The thing that doesn't work as well for this, but I've stuck to it now, is that with the felt tip ones, I can run them along the edge and I don't have to worry about accidentally drawing on what I've just created. The fine tip, I can't do that because the paint only comes out the fine tip. So I have to be a bit more careful. Maybe I'll even come back and do this after. So you don't have to sit here and watch me forever trying to just paint purple on the edge. I'll just do a little bit. Oh, gee, the bottom on that is so shiny that it's not sticking at all.
Maybe do one side so we can see.
That's not working well on that bottom. That's weird.
That's because I didn't prime the bottoms.
Yeah, but this has worked on the other no, it doesn't. Ah, this doesn't like unprimed. Might just be the fine tip again. That's interesting. The purple, because it's so fine, it isn't liking the unprimed version. I think I'm going to have to come back and do this with a different colour just because the fine tip is struggling a bit. It was good in theory. Okay, well. The green would be easy. Don't know. She can't make up mind. Yes. Yes. Oh, the green would be really quick. I just don't like green that much. We're going green. Because then it's just done, right?
It's like 3 swipes and the side's done.
Exactly. That purple is going to take me forever. I'm not going to be able to do all the sides at once though because it's going to take forever to dry. But then I can also get in here a bit easier with the green. Because I just go around like this. Can't put that side down. So I'm going to do this side. And see, because yeah, I can just run it along the edge and it won't go over the top. So it's like way easier. Big markers are better for that. Oh, look at how that's separating. That's weird. A few of them do that. They have like a weird reaction. Well, Pilot, we might have to drop your score a bit. I was going to give you like a 4.5. We might have to drop it a little bit for some of these weird reactions on the plastic.
To a 1.
No, they're not that bad. They're actually pretty good. I did realise here, now that I've tipped it, I've missed a ton of little bits along that edge. All right, so we're going to leave that to dry somewhere else.
Green does look cool.
No, I think the green was a good choice. Let's put that over there. It's just not very me, but that's okay. That's our Pilot. And it's our Pilot because it was the first one we did. Okay, now what was the request? Was it Artex that was the request?
Yes.
My Artex is over here. Let's have a look. It wasn't even on the ones I was going to do right away. I think I put these aside for Artex. Someone suggested one too, way back. These were the 3 that I was thinking of potentially being Artex options. Maybe we can do them on the black tape I've got here because I don't know where I've put all the other tapes. And we've got Simtap, more Simtap. We've got acrylic markers and we've got more acrylic markers. Lots of Artex. I thought that was 3 different types of Artex. Maybe just because I have so many containers, so many different tubs here, I got myself confused. So let's put these down. Let's open them up. Lots of colour options here, which gives me a lot more variety in what I can choose to do. Oh, my desk is like just overloaded and it's a big desk. There's just stuff everywhere. That's okay. All right, palette vote. Which one are we going for?
633, 693 and 780.
So I've got 2 lots of
I've got 2 SimTap and 2 of this other one, and I don't remember which one's the new one and which one's the old one, because they've sent me them at different times. Because Artex has a habit of reaching out to lots and lots and lots of YouTubers and offering them a bunch of stuff, and then someone else reaches out and they don't realize they've already reached out to you, and so they just like send out a ton. Oh, there is 3 types here. There is like a ton of Artex markers, and I don't mind their markers, but I don't love how much they harass me on email.
So
there are 3 types of Artex markers.
The first 3 votes is 633, 693, and 780.
Oh, wow. We're so good at making decisions here together. See, it's not just me that can't decide.
There's a few more for 780, so that's winning so far.
Okay. It is cool. Like, I don't really know. I feel like I'll just do like an abstract pattern and then do some abstract. Actually, that could be quite fun.
And Caitlin did say 864 was the suggestion.
Ah, well, I haven't even found that, so I might come back to that for another one. Keep that in mind. I'm going to write it down. 864. It's getting written down here just randomly. And I'll come back later and go, why did I write 864 on that post-it note? And then Shane will remind me that it was Caitlin's palette suggestion. All right, are we 780? Are we heading that way? Are we still heading that way?
Yeah, I think that's the winner.
All right, so my plan with this is I want to try all these 3 different types of markers. Let me explain to you what they are. So the SimTap is like a traditional marker, except instead of, well, actually it's not, because it's the brush. They're all brush tip, which I love. These ones you activate by pushing the end, and I make a huge mess every time I do it. So I
it's
don't
an
know.
EpiPen.
Oh dear. I like the SimTap the first time I use them, and I'm not sure if I like them after that. So I'm a bit unsure. I'm trying to find one that's not activated to show you. There you go. Yeah, so let's activate it so you can see what I mean by the chaos that comes. Because you pull off this little... See, I was about to say, the thing about these little caps is they always go missing. This one's missing its cap. So, point made. So you push this down and it just instantly floods into that chamber, which is great. But then it takes ages to like actually soak into the tip. And there's sort of like, you don't want to keep activating it because there's already so much paint here. So I feel a bit like impatient with these ones because I don't like just activating more. It takes ages to fill the tip. But I don't know if that's a bad thing because some of the other ones that fill the tip really quickly, then obviously the paint dries and all that. So there's like other factors as well.
Well, it looks like it gets to the tip quickly, but not like the whole
It just doesn't
tip.
feel, yeah. So I don't know if that's really a bad thing as long as they don't then unmix. Now, oh, the teal hasn't been mixed. That's interesting. This one's already loaded in the end, which seems weird because I haven't activated that one. And that one's also missing the cap. Let me give it a shake first. The rule with shaking pens is if a pen makes a sound when you shake it, you're probably supposed to shake it. No shake. Shake. See? It makes a sound. So you shake it. So shake the pens that make sounds when you shake them. So this one, let's watch it go. That looked like it did nothing because the paint's already kind of in this area, which doesn't make sense. Although now it's coming out a bit further and it's flooding that tip. But see, it hasn't flooded straight away, and so I just have to wait for a while. Because if you pump more in, then it's just going to overflow. And I just feel like this part takes forever. Like, I feel like this takes longer than what it does on just the traditional pens. Maybe not, but I feel so impatient with this waiting, and I just want to put more paint in it, and then it floods. And so, like, I don't know, maybe it's just that the tip is too dense, and so that's why it takes so long to flood it. Like the tip end. I don't know. But see, that's starting to get some paint out, but it's not at the tip yet. So it's like you can paint with it, but not on the other side. So, I mean, but then when the paint does come out, it's like really nice opaque paint. Like, except that it's reacting on my surface. Oh, look at that. Is that the side that's the primer? It's reacting with the primer. That is not a good sign for its performance on plastic. And that is worth noting down.
I have to make my notes here because going back through this live stream to try and find these notes later, it's like a nightmare. So this is what the Artx, and this is the sim tap and its reaction. And I don't know, Will, do you want to come get a shot of that? Because you can use that in our main video to show you got a camera to do it with. Not like a still camera. I don't know whether you want to just grab the side camera here or something, because I really want to show that, because that's like a... I don't know, Shane, what are people thinking? Is that what you would expect on primed plastic?
We have a comment, minus the 3-inch long needle.
Yeah, for the EpiPen.
We have Sarah saying, ew, -7.
What?
For the score.
It's not reacting now that I need it to react for the video, but look at that. That's like, wow. It's gone all blotchy. Gross. It's not a good, that's not a good run for plastic. That actually really sucks for plastic, because otherwise these are really nice and like opaque. So that's that. Where's my palette gone? I am so all over the place. This is what my testing looks like. This is me being like, okay, gonna do this, and then I find another tape that I actually wrote Artx on, even though I just pulled a new one. And
probably need a bigger desk.
We've got a bigger desk, and I've somehow already just lost things on it, and I've lost the palette. I've lost the palette completely. Seriously, I've lost the palette. Remember, what number was it? Where are we?
780.
What day is it? 780. 780. I might need someone to go hunt in another version of the color cube, because we at least have more here. That's the benefit of making them. Is it under my page? Oh, I found it! It was here the whole time. We're okay. Okay, so that's the sim tap. I actually think that's a fairly good color for what I want here, but let's see if we can get some other, thinking that might be a closer color. I do also have these other types of markers that I want to test as well. So let's get, trying to work out a good darkish purple, but it's very muted. I almost wonder if I'm better off even going for like, oh, that's actually pretty close to that one. So that could be cool.
You might have to move everything up just a little bit.
Thank you. And then that sort of pastel-y, that's not really right. This could be good for this, if it's what it looks like. So we'll try activating a few of them. There might be some colors there that work. Let's get this out of the way. In my other sim tap collection, which I don't know if it's like a different set or a different range, or I don't know, but there's more. That looks like exactly the same color, except that this one hasn't lost the end cap yet.
But you know it will.
These feel like this. No, that's the same color. I can't see any like new colors here that are closer to what I'm looking for. So I think we'll just put that one away. Then we've got our cotton core. So by cotton core, these are the ones that you don't have to shake, and they're actually, I want to open a cotton core. I wonder if I can open one of these to show you. I wonder how they open. Let's save that for the main video. The cotton core is basically like this, runs through the whole marker. So there's no like loose ink in them, but it also means they carry a lot less ink. It's interesting that in this one, they've chosen that you should keep them down. So I wonder if cotton core is best stored that way, because it's interesting that that's how they've designed their box. That's a maybe. Like, part of it is like, if I can't get the perfect color, just sort of getting the rough color range for the vibe of this picture. We could use this black. There's a lot of different, there is actually a lot of color options here, which is good. Just not exactly the colors that I'm necessarily looking for. And I need like a pale, oh, that's pretty close. This is where our new companion is going to be so good, because I'll be able to just pick up this and select Artex acrylic markers, and it will just tell me exactly which ones are the best match. and I won't have to sit here swatching them. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, and then I have this other type of marker, which is the labyrinth style activated markers. And I do want to try a few of these as well, but I've sort of, like, these aren't really the right colours for what I'm looking for. Maybe it's getting a bit light. Until I've clearly kept these in order since doing all this testing. One of these is going to work for this. I just don't know which one. So I'm getting out way more colours than I need just because I want to make sure I test different markers, but also actually try and follow our palette a little bit. That kind of is similar to them. This is why everything ends up a mess in my desk all the time. It's like we have everything so neatly organized and like beautiful systems, and then the reality day to day is this. They're kind of heading into that beautiful teal. All right, I think I've got enough options. Definitely have enough options. So let's move all these ones out of the way. Oh, we've well and truly got options for Artex. So what I'd like to do just to start off is grab our palette and just test some of these. We're probably gonna have to shake a bunch of them. It's just... You don't have to shake the cotton cores. Ah! All right, oh, it's gonna have to do. All right, I just want to see. Let's look over and get a closer reference. If we can. Oh, so that's pretty good. These ones, you'll notice as I just tap. This happens with a lot of the brands where when you first swatch it, it's unmixed, even though these are the ones that are apparently stay mixed. So again, even with the new style markers, you should always just do a bit of just drawing to get some of that first bit out. And yes, it does waste some marker, but look how much this has changed from those first few swatches just by drawing more. So gives you a very different perspective on the color. I do like that color. I think that's a good one. This is the similar color. This one has no cap. All my caps have disappeared, even on the ones that I haven't used yet. That is not the color I thought it was going to be. Have I put the wrong lid on that? Or is that actually... No. That's so different. No. That can't be the right lid. Can't be. Look at that. It's like not even... I need to go through my set because there is no way that that is that color. Like this is almost a blue. This is like a green, like a aqua. Surely they didn't think that that was a good match. Surely I've put the wrong lid on the wrong marker. I'm going to give them
the number on the barrel anyway?
Well, this is going to be the problem. Maybe it doesn't. And this is what I was saying earlier about if you do match them up wrong, you're pretty stuck because the barrel has no number reference. It's only on the lid. So I might need to see if there is another copy of that marker in the other set, because I do have the two sets, and see if it's the same. Here we go. I found it. Okay. Oh, here comes the test. Nope. It's not me. That's the same color. Wow. What a bad color match. You can see as soon as it comes out that that's a bad color match.
We can't see just the back of your head.
Sorry, I'm too like invested. Look at that difference. Well, that also disqualifies it from my list here, but we're going to put them over to the side to make sure we don't forget them because that's a notable fail. This colour's a bit darker, but it will go well with that light colour.
I like that colour.
Yeah, me too. This one's getting a bit grey, but I do have like a, I don't know, might ditch that one. Just want to make sure I have some cotton cores though. just trying to pick my colours before I go too crazy. This is darker. So this is a good like in between for those, with those three kind of go really well together. They're very similar. So I wonder if we could blend them. Oh, let me just try on the paper, just out of curiosity. How will these blend? Because I think these should blend better, where you can kind of like pull the colour. And paper is not the best for blending all these because the paper just gets wrecked really quick. So the fact that it can blend it all on paper is a really good sign. So that's a really good for blending. Good blending score. This one, I'm just going to say no, I've got enough teals. Just put that over there. I didn't really get any of this dark blue colour. That is just straight out grey. So we're going to ditch that one. This one, maybe. Let's give it a... Oh, see, even that's so much more blue than I thought it was going to be. The Sim Tap, not doing really well with their colour matching. Let's give that a second. Where's another Sim Tap that I need to load? We've got our black for our anthracite colour and the cotton core. That'll do. That's nice and black. We want something that fits our English violet colour. Should leave that there for a second. This one is a nice purple and it kind of works between these. But I wonder what else we've got. Oh, I don't want to keep loading these other ones. They're all not loaded. Whoops, there goes the lid. The cap. All right, let's do this. And already we have, like I was saying, when they go a bit out of hand, this one's like barely loaded. This one's loaded really quick, but it's also like basically dripping. See? So that becomes really messy. And I found that to be a problem that I keep having with these, is they either don't load or I make an absolute mess with them. So this isn't really the right colour, but I do think it works well between those colours. And I wonder if there's some of that colour sort of in the picture. It does kind of seem like there's a bit of blue. So I'm actually going to keep that one. You know what? I shouldn't have pulled all these off because now I'm going to mess up the lids. Okay. The purples, this purple's probably getting a bit strong. So we're going to put that. Again, that's nothing like that. These purples are like, it's like they're a different hue. I wouldn't care if it was just a bit darker or lighter, but they're a different colour. So Sim Tap matching, not impressed. Chuck that one to your pile too, you will. Oh, this one has like really leaked and clogged and made a mess. So they're quite a messy marker, unfortunately. I do think that colour is a bit better than my other purple here. So let me give you that one. Oh, hang on, is that drying more like... No, so this is still way more blue than that. I'm not impressed by the colour matching. I'm going to use that one. That is dried up. So let's try and pump some fresh paint into that and see what happens. I'm surprised that's dried up. I've not seen that with any of the other ones of them yet. Let's just give that a sec to resettle.
Caitlin panicked a bit when you pulled 2 lids off at once.
She's right. That was a really bad idea. This is a bit more muted than this, but I think I like it, actually, as my pink for this. It goes well with the other colours. So we're going to use that as our pink, which means I'm actually going to dish this pink even though it's...
Are you still planning on doing 3 cassettes?
Probably not. It's been more of an exploration than actually using everything. Okay, this is a lighter colour. I just need to quickly pick my last... to sort of, this is a good sort of halfway in between them, so I'll claim it. Let's see what this is. Oh, that actually is really nice for that. I've got a variety of different types here. Oh, these are the ones that I also find, the Artex, these keep coming undone. It's the only brand that I'm having that problem with, and it's happened a lot. It's not going to make it leak or anything, it's just annoying. Just checking if there's any other potentials. This one maybe, because it's kind of in between those two. Alright, I think with that, I probably need to just get on with it. That's way too... No, I've got to... Okay, I'm going to ditch the rest. I'm going to go because I've taken up all the time talking and planning and thinking and doing all that. Where did my Artex tape go? Where did my blue tack go? Where did everything go? Here's some blue tack. Pull it the right side.
blue tacking it down. Let's get it nice and centered for my top videos. You noticed I got this. This was actually just accidental, but now it's become a really good line to like line them all up in the same spot. Make sure it's stuck down well. We have our palette.
780 is volume 4.
Yes. So this one I believe is part of the Cyberpunk collection. We've got our colours here, our colours here. And what I'm thinking for this is kind of just following the vibe of this. Probably won't go as dark as this. I think I just like this combination of colours. And I think I just like the fact that even though this is rain, it's kind of like just abstract. So I think I'm just going to go for that kind of just abstract approach and kind of test the markers in the process. So first of all, the cotton core. These are really nice to use, even on plastic. They are always more watery than the other, than other types of markers. I'm going to do the black last because it's going to drag. Actually, I don't know if let's figure that out later. Then, yeah, so the new ones are all more watery than like the classic paint pens. Those two types of paint must be different because they are not blending despite both being good blending markers. So that's interesting. You can't really mix types. I didn't expect that, to be honest. They're blending a little bit, but they're kind of resisting each other. I don't know how much you can see that. It's like, yeah, they don't want to blend. It's all right. We'll do another layer on top to kind of clean that up. Yeah, they're not as opaque as some of the others that we've seen so far. So you can see the writing through them. That's not too bad. This is another one of them. See, like it looks like it's going to be opaque, but then it kind of settles and it's not. So the opacity on them needs a bit of work, I guess, on something like this.
I wonder if that's because they are a bit thinner, so therefore they're a bit more watery, so you'd have to do a few layers to make it work.
Definitely. What's good though is that I can create some pretty good gradients. Look at that. That was really easy to blend. The more you fiddle with it, the worse it gets, of course. But over like the instant sort of like effect on that was pretty good. Pretty easy to do. I wonder if the sim tap now though will be the same issue. Yeah, they're kind of blending the different types of markers. They must be different mixes because they don't want to blend. Alright. So I'm kind of just at the moment just going different patches in different areas. If they blend, that's cool. If they don't want to blend, we'll just work with it. Because we're definitely going to have to do a second layer on these ones just because of... Oh, see, that one's way over pumped again. So it's like, it'll splatter, which I'm going to just embrace for a second. But the sim tap, I feel like, are really unpredictable. And I don't love that. They're quite thick to go down. That's kind of good. Like that looks like that's going to be opaque over that.
Maria, who's one of our members, has just joined the live stream.
Hi, Maria. We're just painting cassettes. I think we're going to be doing a bit more in the members live later because I've run out of time and we got through 2.
You've done pretty well though. Like you usually don't run out of time on the live streams. You usually get through everything.
Yeah. So this one's again dried already, so I kind of have to repump it. You were joking with me, weren't you?
Yes.
Messing with me, and I was just like, yeah, you're right. No, you're totally messing with me, and now laughing at me. All right. So this is interesting when it's still wet. It's kind of reacting. So I feel like all 3 of these would be good for blending. I think all of them can get like
because this one here I'm using, this is the sim tap on the sim tap down the bottom, and it seems to allow me to do quite a lot. So I think they can all get like a 4.5 for blending, all three of the Artx. Because they do seem to be fairly easy to blend, despite me doing really weird methods here. I'm also being a bit impatient. Like I kind of want to go a second layer on all this, but it's not dry yet, so I need to give it a second to dry. The good thing about some of the new types, so like the cotton core and that is, yes, they're more watered down, but they actually also dry pretty quick. So you can come back and like layer them a lot sooner. I'm not really worried about my colors mixing up here because I have a thought. It'll make sense once I get to the next layer. I'm trying to work out if there's any colours I haven't used from this little stash I've got here. I haven't used the black. That's, see, I don't know if I want to bring the black in. It's so dark, but then that is more what this is. If I just put some tiny little bits of it, and then I can kind of still kind of cover it up, mix it in or whatever. But it's pretty strong straight off the bat. So I'm gonna dilute that with the blue that I've got to try and tone it down, mix it into the blue, even though they're the different kind of markers. So that probably isn't working, but it's kind of working. Probably just wrecking my markers. Mixing in with the purple as well. Just kind of darkened the purple, so that's not bad.
So what's your general thoughts on those markers?
I'm liking all three of these for plastic. There are a lot of other tests that I've used to determine things like the opacity and stuff like that to see how they sort of rank overall against others. But what's interesting right now is I'm using a green and it's just moving the paint around. I think this marker is dry, so it's kind of just acting as a brush, which actually would be useful to have. That's what these brands should offer. They should offer an empty marker that's just intended to be almost like a colourless blender, but just a dry brush. Because right now my problem is this marker is too dry and I can't seem, so I've just coloured it with all these other colours, but I can't seem to get more paint through. It just doesn't want to bring more in. I wonder if I can like over pump it to the point that it just leaks.
And that's the Artx ones, isn't it? Yeah,
that's the sim tap. So the sim tap I feel like I have less control over, so I like them the least out of the three. They're not bad though. Like, they do seem to be a really good marker with a really solid colour. I just feel like usability, I feel like they've got a big learning curve in trying to use them, and I'm finding it to be really frustrating, so. All right, I kind of need to let this sit and dry for a minute, otherwise I'm just making a big muddy mess. I'm gonna let it sit and dry, and then I'll come back and do a second layer in like, probably only like 2 minutes. It doesn't take that long to dry. I'm wondering, for the outside of this one, I reckon I might go into the purple that's now overflowing. I can at least do the top part of that while it's sitting here. This is what I meant by if I can use the side of the brush, and it's actually quite easy to do around the edges.
So in the comments,
yeah,
how can she do anything and make it look good? Like if I did that, it would look like a baby got a hold of acrylic markers. What say you?
What say me is limiting your colour palette is actually probably the biggest key. Limiting your colour palette, and that's, I guess, where the colour cube wasn't not trying to just push my own product. You can find palettes on Pinterest. Like, I don't care where you get palettes. But, there is no method in this paint right now. This is chaotic. But it works because the colours work. So I could literally put down anything on this right now and it would probably end up looking good because the colours work. So this is the key. That simple. What colour was this? Oh, that's the blue that is not the colour it looks like. And this one's also having that same problem. I need to just like load a bunch more paint into it and let it leak. let it be messy for the sake of having accessible paint. So my thought here is that I'm just literally I'm gonna stick with one direction to make it feel like the running stuff here, and just kind of keep adding paint in these colors, but a bit more randomly. So it just kind of feels like, I don't know, a bit of a blur of color that kind of follows that sort of pattern of just streaking down. So streaking paint. That was my thought. Didn't take long to dry. Most of it's dry. The blue's now very wet. Some of the purple's still wet for the most part. And some of these colours can kind of, again, just blend a little bit. So I'll do them while the other colours are wet, like the blue next to the green, the teal. Can't believe I just called it green. My rule with stuff like this too is if it sort of like starts abstract, you kind of just keep adding layers until you're happy. There's something I heard recently said that was, art is never finished, it's just abandoned. So in this case, I'm doing this while this second layer is still a bit wet because I kind of want the blue to pick up, the purple to pick up some of these other colours. Like the teal and the blue, because it's similar to those colours. They're kind of next to each other in the colour wheel, so it's fairly safe to let them overlap. Because now when I'm painting this, it's like a bit of green, but it's a bit of a mix. You can actually, and I would definitely recommend, if you do that, coming back and cleaning the other colour off by just drawing a bit more. See, because you don't want a blue drawing on the purple marker. You know? It's a bit of a weird mix happening over here. I think that was just because I put too much paint on it. So I probably need to give it a second dry. I wonder if I can dry it like this. Does that speed up drying? Probably not. Do it for myself. Oh, I was about to go, oh, I should have my coffee now. And I was probably just sitting there cold. Will made me this whole coffee and I think I had one sip. I'm sorry, Will. I appreciate it. All right, drying, drying, drying. We've got 10 minutes until we're going to finish up.
One tape a minute.
One tape a minute.
Speed paint.
I'm just waiting for this to dry a bit more so I can do some more on it. Here's a random lid from these Simtime markers. All right. Ready to go in with a bit more. It's still a little bit wet, so I'm still playing a bit risky. I'm also a bit impatient. So after we finish up in about 10 minutes, I'm going to take a short break and then I'll be coming back and doing a bit more of this with our YouTube members. So for our Silver Plus YouTube members, we do an extended stream each time we do this. Just a little bit of extra time together. I think these colours are drying dark. Like for me, this is looking really dark and I don't feel like it looks like that until it dries. And that's one of the things I was saying about that. I don't like when the colours are drying quite differently to what they go down because it feels disappointing. So that's something that I might sort of stop and test them. Well, I mean, I can even just have a look at this now. Like if I drew yeah, that one's got the thing on it. It doesn't look like it. It's drying like a little bit more grey. You can see that. I've just done fresh next to that. So it's kind of going more muted. The problem is when it goes more muted, it does make it look a bit muddier. So this is looking quite grey, which isn't really what I was going for. I don't want to do the cotton cores yet because they will struggle on top of the wet paint, I think. Well, should they do them okay? Maybe they won't. I say I won't do them as I'm taking the marker out and getting ready to use it. That's, yeah. This one is picking up a lot of colour. Like I feel like I'm using a multicolour marker. It's like, do it over here, it looks pink. Do it over here, it looks purple. It's because it's picking up so much colour from everything else. Picking up the blues, it's picking up everything. I think this will help when I bring back the light pinks, but if I can let this all dry, then I won't drag the dark colours back into the light colours. I think these light colours and then even these are gonna probably be my answer to sort of finishing this up nicely. I think it has enough dark, even though I barely put any black, everything's kind of dry dark anyway. I think from here I need to bring back some of these lighter splashes. And hopefully they dry light, although that one looks like it's going to dry darker, so that I can, yeah, pull them back in.
So Jane in the comments is asking how much the memberships are. It's if you go to Sarah's channel on YouTube, because it's different in each country. So go to Sarah's channel and I think there's a membership tab or a join button there, and it'll give you all the different options and how much it is where you are.
This isn't entirely what I was picturing for this, but that's up on the way. It's kind of working. I do want to make it lighter. I think the pinks will help with that a bit. Pink that I've turned blue. Kind of looks cool when the colours are tainted, but you do have to be careful it doesn't wreck the marker permanently. There we go. Got it back. I think I do need to like let this dry properly now, because what's happening is as I'm mixing, it's just soaking in. So if I let it dry and then I can do like a final, just different lots of colors on top. I do want to finish it in this stream though. We've got 5 minutes. I don't think it's gonna dry in 5 minutes. Maybe enough to like put down some more, maybe. No. Someone suggested streaks of white. Yeah, I mean that could kind of really add to this, couldn't it? I kind of just want to use the lighter colors and not have them blend is kind of what I would like to do. And even potentially adding some dots, kind of like these water splatters, I think will actually help a lot. I just need it to dry a little bit more, because I just want to do like some like pockets of color.
Put it in front of the fan.
Maybe. Because yeah, every time I'm adding colour, it's still kind of mixing into what's already there. I don't want it to mix, I want it to sit on top. That's just my impatience. But also because I want to do it before we finish up, so. Selfless impatience. And just get some of these lighter colours to just sit on top a bit better, and I'll be happy. All right, that's feeling a little bit closer to what I wanted. And then what I'm thinking is just, I mean, white would work if I can get the white to almost dilute a little bit so it's not like a really solid white, which if everything's still wet might actually work. Let me see if I've got a white here that I can do that with. I do have, or I go a little bit off white might actually work. If I just do it while the paint's still kind of wet, then it won't actually be truly white and it'll just kind of settle with them. That might help. To feel a bit like raindrops as it kind of blends into the colours underneath it. So it's not truly white intentionally. Done it on the green a bit. Made a very green white pen. All right, I think that's enough white added. And I want to kind of just keep that sort of flow going with some other colours. If all else fails, add dots. Well, these are kind of like little lines rather than dots. But same vibe. And as I finish this up, it's time for us to finish up the stream. So if there's anything anyone wants to say before we leave, now's your chance. So where's the final little touches that you suddenly go, oh, there it is. It doesn't look crazy now. Starts to look okay. Would have been better if I waited for this to dry in between, but you know. I think I'm pretty happy with how this came out. It's definitely like a darker, muddier colour than I thought, and I'm not quite sure which of the paints was doing that the most. I think it was the Semtap. So I'm just trying to bring some of these brighter colours back, even just in like little dots, although this might not be a brighter colour if it then dries dark too, but we'll see. It looks pretty, at least while it's wet. But thank you everyone again for joining me on another live stream. These are a lot of fun. I know Shane really enjoys doing these too. We enjoy catching up and talking and being able to just be creative together, even with all the chaotic lack of decisions from me sometimes and working my way through the messy middle. I love that you want to join me on that journey and that we get to do it together. And I hope that you do get inspired and try some of this stuff for yourself. And I hope that today in particular that you're able to kind of learn something from even just the two paint pens that I ended up creating with. There will be a lot more to be shown in my video that is coming in a few weeks. I think I'm pretty happy with how this one has turned out as our sort of like final one for the day. Obviously there's all these other ones that I've been doing other times as well, so they're a lot of fun. You'll see all of them in the video, but also keep an eye out on my Instagram because I will be posting like short videos of these so that you can sort of see the process from them in a bit more detail. On that note, I'll say goodbye and I will see the members soon. And I hope the rest of you have a wonderful creative week and take a risk on something. Take a risk on something creative that maybe you weren't feeling brave enough to do. See ya.